That's goofy. Why are you so goofy?
You're totally right. And I'm sorry I'm being so goofy and getting upset here.
Are we having a stupid competition?
BBDs.
Welcome to Bad Bible Debates. I'm Joel, and I'm usually joined by my cohort, Mezzo, and we share our finest debates from across the internet. And a lot of people have been saying, where are these debates? How can we debate you? And so I thought it would be a good idea. Well, Mezzo and I thought it would be good. I don't know where he is. But Mezzo and I thought it would be a good idea to share how these podcasts come to be, and to kind of give you a bit of a glimpse into the process of where we do these debates and how they happen. Now, what usually takes place is Mezzo and I don't want to speak for him, but we purchase or rent smartphones. What's a smartphone? A smartphone is sort of like this... It's like when you used to have telephones, but it has the dots, but it's actually, the dots are numbers, but it's not the same as it used to be because it's actually just like a screen. It's like a screen like a television thing, but you can touch it. And when you touch it, it does things. It responds to it. Not like an animal. If you pet it, it starts purring. But it's almost like it responds to it the way when you used to dial a number, it would go beep, meep, meep, meep. But now you touch a screen and it can do all sorts of other things. It can make pictures bigger. Like you can zoom in if you want to see something that's really, really small. But also, you're actually really interested in seeing it. So you can do that on it, and then you can also log on to apps. And what are apps? Apps are sort of
BBDs.
So are you a Christian?
Yes, sir.
What did God get right, user?
All of creation.
All of creation. Have you noticed creation?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
so in the Bible, it talks about how God is all good, he's all knowing, but what is evil is the absence of God. And that's what the Bible describes as hell. And hell is the absence of God.
Did he create hell?
He created hell for his
So he created
angels.
a place that he would be absent from.
Yes.
Okay, I think that was bad. So we're talking about what God got right, unless you think that creating hell was a good thing.
Well, I don't necessarily believe that creating hell was a good or bad
Okay,
thing.
let's start over.
Okay.
We're talking about what did God get right? And it feels like you started with something. You said creation, part of that being hell, and I don't know that you think that hell is... I would say that hell's not good. I would say that creation, by and large, has a lot of bad diseases, natural disasters.
Very true.
And then there's all sorts of like violence that creation does upon creation. And we're talking about like in the animal kingdom and then in the human kingdom. There's a lot of like horrific stuff going on. And that's all creation. It looks like he screwed that up.
I'm trying to use a comparison. So how do you know what warmth feels like?
How do we know? Okay, I get that you're doing this dichotomy thing. I don't know that it really works. I think you could know that you're comfortable at a comfortable temperature without feeling a cold, like super cold, like freezing to death. I think that there is. I think Christians like these stark dichotomies, and I don't think they're ever really that necessary. I never have to experience minus 40. Like I never have to experience.
I wasn't talking about like bitter cold. I was just talking about, like a comfortable warm versus like a, uncomfortable cold. Like the difference between jumping in a cold pool or, being in a warm house.
Yeah, but I don't understand what you're talking, like what the point is, because I was saying, what did God get right? You said all of creation. I pointed out a bunch of things that are not good in creation. And then you said, well, we need the cold to know what it's like to feel warmth.
Yeah.
Draw those things together. We need the brutal violence of creation. We need the natural disasters. We need the diseases. Is that what you're trying to get to?
No, well, what I said initially was, all of creation, and then you said there's tons of bad, and I said that the absence of God is evil because God is all good, he's all knowing, and the absence of him is evil and darkness.
So what are you like? Draw this together because I feel like is God omnipresent?
He is omnipresent.
Okay, so
But
there's no
there are
absence of God, so
that,
that's fine.
yeah, but I mean, so here's the thing: is that if let's say God created us humans in His image to worship Him, right? But
Okay.
is it true love if you're forced to do something?
I gotta tell you, I think that you're trying to make an argument but not making it. I know what you're trying to say, but you're not saying it. Okay. So
But
I don't know if you want me to do all the work here or if you actually want to make the point you're trying to make. Because right now, what we have is God doing something right, which you said was creating this creation. And I've pointed out all the horrible things in creation. And then you jump to separation from God. Let's pretend I don't know what you're talking about. Why is it that God created a creation that's full of suffering? And I would say gratuitous suffering. I don't know, to torture us? I would say God got this wrong. He failed because there are people suffering.
so how did God fail, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, did you notice all the suffering?
I notice a lot of suffering, but I also
Yeah.
can see the bright side of life and also the good in it.
Yeah. So if he had gotten it right, if it had been done right, then there wouldn't be all this suffering, right? It would be like the good stuff would be there because it would have been done right. Let's say I'm a potter. Let's say I made a set of dishes.
Okay.
90% of the dishes, like 9 out of 10 of the dishes were just cracked and, dysfunctional. The glaze had sort of run and it doesn't really work. But one of them's great. One of them's fantastic. You could eat a meal on it. It looks good. It'd be great in photos. I would say that I didn't get it right. I didn't get the set of dishes right. So I think that that's where kind of God didn't get creation right, because if you look around, there's so much suffering.
No, I understand where you're coming from. I believe that your analogy is a little bit off.
Okay.
Of you being a potter, you making 9 pots that were just terrible and the one that was great.
I
would say it would be a better analogy. I think it would be a better analogy if, let's say you made 10 pots, right? Mm-hmm. You're still a potter. You made 10 pots and they were perfect, right? But then you had someone come into the room and knock over your table, right? They let's say it was an accident where they accidentally knocked over the table, and now you have 5, half of them, that have hit the floor and they're unusable. That person that came into the room and knocked those 5 pots over, that's Adam and Eve that sinned.
I feel like Adam and Eve in the analogy would be part of the pots.
Oh, you're actually right on that. Yeah.
So they can't really knock themselves over. Yeah. Well, so that's the first problem with the thing. Yeah. And then the second problem is that human suffering, animal suffering, natural disasters, diseases, there's no reason to think that that's the result of the fall. Biblically speaking.
Well, I mean, in a perfect world, we wouldn't get sick. We wouldn't get, we wouldn't die. Going back to Genesis, it does talk about how we did live in a perfect world, starting with Adam and Eve.
No.
I'm sorry. How was that
not true?
Not a perfect?
It's just not in Genesis. That's just not true.
What part of Genesis says that God didn't create a perfect world for Adam and Eve?
Well, there's no part in Genesis that says God created anything perfect.
But if he's a perfect being and he made us in his image, why wouldn't he make us perfect?
Well, if that were the case, and then
we wouldn't have sinned.
Right. So that's obviously not true, because we would have been perfect, because he would have been a perfect creator that created something perfect.
He made us perfect, but it was our sin that made us imperfect.
But we wouldn't have sin if we were perfect, right? We would be made perfect and we wouldn't have done anything sinful. And also, I will just remind you, the Bible just does not say that we were created perfect. So if we see that sin happened, that the creation wasn't perfect, and if there's other indicators that the creation wasn't perfect, like Eve would have had her pain increase, it says, rather than just have brand new pain in child. So there was already pain. Adam had to work the garden. I don't know what kind of work you have to do in a perfect world, right? You have a snake or a serpent who is a baddie, and he's going around being cunning and deceptive. That doesn't seem perfect. So there, you have these indicators that the world wasn't perfect, and that God didn't mention that it was perfect. He just mentioned that it was good. So that would
You're right.
Yeah, so that would tell me that he made the world the way it is, except there was a few curses that people and serpents got. So my argument would be...
You know what? I did misspoke or misspeak.
Mm-hmm. So my point is, according to the story, that God created a world full of natural disasters, cancer, and all these horrific things. He didn't get the creation part right. Like, that's not good. I wouldn't go with that. I think that's undesirable. So that's where I think he failed.
So I agree with you in the aspect that I misspoke and I used the word perfect when I should have been using the word good.
Mm-hmm.
In a perfect world, which doesn't exist, there wouldn't be any kind of diseases or any kind of viruses or death or anything like that. But in a good world, that probably still would exist. I forgot what I was saying now.
If God didn't create the world perfect, and he can claim that it's good, and that's his call. I mean, it's a little bit egotistical to be like, this is great, but it's full of disease and suffering and all of those things. I would say he didn't get that right. Even though he's claiming it's good, I disagree. I don't think he got it right. It's not desirable because, again, people are starving. There are skunks. There's places in the world where you'll just die if you go out without a coat.
Here's the thing is that if God didn't, pretty much what I'm getting from you is that if God made a good world and not a perfect world, he made a mistake.
Yeah, like there's so much suffering. So basically this is what I'm hearing you say, just to be very clear, is that you think that gratuitous suffering is good. That you agree with God, that all sorts of like cancer in babies, volcanoes where the lava's just killing people, earthquakes, tsunamis, just things that are destroying people, that these are all good things just because a book said that the God said that they were. I'm just pushing back on that, and I'm saying I don't think those things are good.
Whew. Just got back inside. It's cold out there.
Tell me about it.
Oh, where are you at right now?
I'm in Ontario in Canada.
Oh my gosh. So you understand. Jeez.
Mm-hmm. See, this is what I'm saying. I was too cold. I was too cold today, and so I made this because I was like, God did not get this right. This is egregious. -7? Yeah. I'm not interested.
BBDs. Okay, we're back. Before I get to this clip of a tag artist doing the transcendental argument for God poorly, I wanted to kind of pick up where Joel left off because we were talking a little bit about the behind the scenes and how, we actually get together to make this podcast. It's, it's a decent amount of work actually. And he mentioned the cell phones, but even before that, there were regular phones, cordless phones, of course. You have your, walkabouts, walk around your house. And then you had the wired phones and rotary phones. And with the rotary, you turn the dial. I don't know if you mentioned that. I was a little busy. But of course, before rotary phones, people were communicating with Morse code, or the code of the moose, as you might have heard it before. So when you have a lot of meese together, you can form a code. And the Code of Mooses was a band that was really popular here in Sweden in the 1980s, the early 1980s. So decade by decade, these things change and move on, but still you have other forms of communication, whether it's through Morse code, moose code, or other kinds of codes. Code of conduct, passcode, that was a pretty good board game actually, where you had to guess the pieces. Or maybe I'm thinking of Mindbreaker. Was that a board game? Sorry. So before video games were played on boards, and they had plastic pieces in them. And you would roll a dice and then... BBDs.
I know you probably don't want this, but Precept Mars is in the chat, and he's lipping off saying, atheism, LOL, who could be an atheist? I don't know if you want to talk to him, because he's a waste of time, because he's not very smart.
I don't know if we've talked before. Have we talked before?
Yeah, we talked. You made it a fool out of yourself.
Yeah, that sounds that's like checks out. So you've definitely talked to me then.
Do you want me to make a fool out of myself again, or are you busy? Or
But I do the transcendental argument for God. So
your passion is relentless. I can feel it. Oh, so you don't care about like the Bible verses?
um, why would I don't know why would I do like a Bible study with someone that like hates God, you know? So it's like of course you're gonna frame everything in like the worst way possible. So I just don't see the point of doing that. So I
Yeah.
do the transcendental argument for God.
And that works a lot of the time. You like convert atheists with it.
It's not about converting atheists, it's about the abasement of their pride.
Oh, you just like to make people feel bad?
Well, if someone believes something that's ridiculous, like if someone's like a flat earther, I feel like we need to humble them because they're arrogant. You know, they think they can say the earth is flat. So it's like the same thing with atheists are like flat earthers. They're just like arrogant and they're full of cliches and platitudes, and there's like no substance to atheism.
Yeah. So why do you think I should believe in God?
Because like you already act, you reason, and you act like God exists. So you might as well like just admit it because you'd avoid cognitive dissonance.
Do I act differently than if God exists? I guess that might be true. I probably act about the same as I would if
Well,
God existed. I guess it depends on which God, though. That like makes a huge difference. Like if a really good God existed and I was aware of it and I was convinced of it, then I would act a little bit differently than if like the Bible God existed or like the Islamic God existed or something like that. But it kind of depends on which one.
you know, Jesus is the ultimate. So like for you to even like speak, there's certain preconditions that have to be true. Like to talk, the
Jesus.
uniform. Yeah, he's one of them. One of them is the uniformity of nature, that
Okay.
the future
Jesus.
resembles the past. So that has to be true for you to even talk. Only that makes sense only on like a world where God created it and endowed the world with order. If God doesn't endow the world with order, then you won't even be able to like talk to me right now.
But I am talking to you, so now we believe in God. But how? Why is it Jesus?
The only way we could know God is if God takes the initiative to reveal himself to us, because we can't like science our way to claims about God and we can't
No,
reason and logic our way to God.
you just did. You just reasoned in logic your way to God. You just said you
No, I
can't do what you
didn't.
did.
No,
You
I
said the
didn't.
only way we're talking to each other is if this. Like you're making an argument logical for God. You're saying your logic didn't work.
No, I'm making an argument. The argument goes like due to human limitations, because like if all we had was science and philosophy, that's not enough to explain the observable data. For our beliefs to be consistent with observable data, we're going to have to submit to an authority outside the human mind, the authority of God. So the
Why is
argument
it?
is
Why
that
is it God's and not something else?
it has to reveal itself to us. If it doesn't reveal it,
You,
then you wouldn't know it.
you know it because you're saying you're using a logical argument to get to it. You see what I'm saying?
I'm not. I'm not using a logical argument to verify God. I'm saying that God's necessary for logical arguments. He's the necessary precondition for logical arguments.
Can you like demonstrate that in some way? Like, can you say the argument for that again?
Well, sure. Like logic, like the law of identity needs for that to be the case. There is a precondition. We need an absolute identity statement to like impose and secure the identity of things.
Okay, so like if the law of identity is true, then there must be a preset objective truth. Is that like maybe the way to say it?
For the law of identity to be the case, there's preconditions. One of the preconditions for identity is an absolute identity statement that
Okay.
would impose and secure the identity of all the objects.
So
In reality.
if the absolute identity statement is true, then the law of identity is true, right?
For logic to work and function, we need an absolute identity statement. So Jesus reveals
Right, yeah.
himself
So
as
yeah,
the
the absolute identity statement. If the absolute identity statement exists, then logic is true.
No,
That's
for
not what you're saying?
logic, for logic to be functional as a precondition, there must be an absolute identity statement.
I don't know like why you keep saying no to me like we're kind of saying the same thing.
I don't think so.
Do you think logic is true?
Yeah, it's necessarily true.
Yeah, and it's necessarily true because there's an absolute identity statement, right?
Well, what makes it true is the absolute identity statement.
Right. So since the absolute identity statement is real and exists, then therefore logic is true, right?
No.
Oh, logic is not true, even though there's an
Or
absolute identity statement?
for logic to function and work, there's preconditions that must be the case,
I
and
know.
the
So
absolute
you're
identity
going
statement.
backwards, and I'm just working it back forwards. We're saying the
Logic
same
is how
thing.
we determine what's true,
But you
but there
said
has
you
to be
can't logic your way to God.
Logic is how we determine what's true. Yeah,
But
you
you
can't
can't use
logic
logic to
God.
your way to God, so God's not true?
Well, he's just not verified with like human logic. He's verified in the fact that he's
Okay.
necessary for
So
logic.
since we're starting as humans, we start off and we use our human logic and we don't get the answer of God. So what do we use to get the answer of God? Since we can't use logic.
We accept God's revelation, or you do not accept God's revelation. If you don't accept God's
What does
revelation,
revelation mean? Like he like revealed, like he shows up to you or in a dream or in his Bible or something like that?
I mean, it's just like God can give us knowledge. It's just knowledge that comes from God.
Telepathically?
Well, he can like no, like he can verbally communicate it through words, like through the prophets, or when we
Oh, okay.
look
Yeah,
at,
it's like through the Bible and stuff. Yeah, yeah.
or like even when we look at the
Because
world is
that's what I'm saying. Like you say, like you're using tag, but you're not. Because you're saying we can't use logic to know what's true, so we have to use revelation, like the prophets, the Bible, the voices in our heads, those kinds of things. That's normal Christianity. Like you're a
No,
basic Christian. You're not a like pre-supping tag Christian.
I'm saying
You're reverting to regular Christianity.
You're not understanding. You're lost in the sauce. I'm saying we can't deny logic because logic is what we use to determine what's true. You need Jesus for logic to work. That's it.
All right. So if Jesus is really God, then logic works.
Yeah, if logic only works and makes sense if Christianity is true.
Or some other religion. It could be a different religion too.
No,
Just any
it has to
God
be.
being.
It has to be Christianity.
Why is that?
Because of the propositional content of like what Jesus revealed about himself is
It's Bible stuff again. Yeah, so yeah,
necessary.
you're a fake tagger, dude. Like you don't really think this logic thing. You're just like a Bible thumper. I thought you were going to do some more like philosophical, like logical work with me here.
That's what I'm doing. It's called a transcendental argument for God.
Yeah, but you're leaving that. You're saying that doesn't work. We can't use logic to get to the truth of
You're
God.
not understanding. You're just not understanding.
You said logic doesn't get us to the truth of God. It doesn't verify God, so we have to go to the book.
He's not verified by logic. He's verified as a necessary foundation for logic, which we can't deny. You can't deny logic.
Yeah, verify him as the necessary thing.
Yeah, logic require. What would be the absolute? So if Jesus isn't the absolute identity statement that's necessary for logic, what would be the absolute identity statement that's not Jesus?
It could be my dick. It could be literally anything. You've given just as much like backing for it being Jesus as it could be anything else. So show me why it's Jesus, and we'll see.
Because okay, imagine like I claim I lived in Queens, New York, and you're skeptical. You don't believe I lived in Queens, New York, right? So I could demonstrate that I lived in Queens, New York by I would like reveal some knowledge that only someone who lived in Queens, New York would know. Like you couldn't Google this knowledge, right? Then verify that I lived.
Okay, I see what you mean. So when you get like secret knowledge from God about like how, like secrets of the cosmos and stuff that is revealed to you either through the Bible or in your head if you just hear it or something like that, that secret knowledge from God proves that he's the one. Because then I would go, oh, so you told me in Queens there's like like behind in a back alley there's a blue fire hydrant that has my initials carved on it, right? And that wouldn't be on Google. That's like a really subtle thing. So then I could go check and I find it there. Wow, he talked about this thing. Here it is. So when God reveals it to you, you go, okay, now I know the inner workings of the universe and I understand the mind of God because he revealed it to me. And so how do you check?
We just ask, right? Like
you just ask the same one, yeah. So you tell me some secret thing about Queens and I would just ask you for it again?
Now let me talk. So like we're having an intelligible experience, and then I ask the question like, what's necessary for this intelligible experience? And there's going to be things like uniformity of nature, which I mentioned, identity over time, which I sort of mentioned. Absolutely.
Were these revealed to you, or these are your logicking too?
This is philosophical. Like this is like definitional.
This is your own mind, not revealed from God mind.
No, the idea is that human reason.
I'm just asking. You have two sources of information of input, right? You have precept Mars and you have God in your brain, and so I'm just curious which source you're getting it from. That's all. Why I was asking.
I'm saying that human reason must be. It only makes sense if God designs our reason. If God doesn't design our reason, then how do we know our reasoning is like accurate? There'd be no way to know.
And
but
so,
if God
so you're saying since God does it, now we know. So God has revealed to you that he makes your reasoning true, right? Is that right?
So
Has God revealed to you that you're using proper reasoning and stuff?
it's not that, no, it's not that it's that he revealed he designed me. And if God designed my mind and God designs the world, then he can like design it in a way where my mind and my senses accurately reflect a real external world.
Which is
If
why
you reject that,
everyone's reasoning is correct because everyone was created by God.
yeah, so if you reject that,
So I believe in atheism, so I'm correct. That's confusing. That doesn't work because now you've proved flat earthers right.
what are you talking about?
I think we need to step that back because some people's reasoning doesn't work the same as yours.
How does that prove flat earthers or atheism? Like, what's the reasoning
You
that
said
atheism is
your
true?
reasoning is true because God
Yes.
made you. God
Right.
made flat earthers too, right?
And well, let's stick with the atheist. So, what's the reason that atheism is true?
What you're saying right here, listen,
you're not getting
I'm
that.
telling you right now. You said God made you. That's why your reasoning is true and correct, right?
Yes.
If God made me, then my reasoning would be true and correct, right?
Yeah. So, what's your
But my
reason?
reasoning goes to atheism. I'm unconvinced
But
of
what
God.
is the reason?
That is why it's unconvincing.
Okay, that's not a reason, though.
I find every description of God contradictory. I think this dribble you're saying is like obvious bullshit. Flat earthers believe in God. They were created by God, right?
You're not understanding.
Were flat earthers created by God?
No, you're not understanding.
Yeah, so then help me understand. Were
I'm
flat
trying
earthers
to, but
created by God?
you're just a goofy person. So
I know,
you're
but
being
were
really
flat earthers,
immature.
I know it's a hard question. Do you think God made flat earthers?
What reason does a flat earther have to think the Earth is flat?
They're using their reasoning. Are you saying their reasoning is flawed?
There's no such thing as their reasoning. Logic is universal.
Right.
There's no
I
such
understand.
thing as my logic, my
Absolutely,
reasoning. That's goofy. Why are you so goofy?
You're totally right. I know. You're totally right. And I'm sorry I'm being so goofy and getting upset here.
Are we having a stupid competition?
I mean, if it is,
because it's like you're saying things
I'm
that are
totally
so
crushing you.
stupid.
I know it's so stupid.
I'm just
so
wondering,
sorry.
like, what you're saying is so stupid. Is this like a
Precept, I'm
competition
not
to say the
smart enough.
stupidest thing?
I'm not
Is
smart
that what
enough
we're
to
doing?
understand your argument, so I'm trying to get clarifying.
You're not trying to
answers.
understand the argument. You're trying to misunderstand the argument because you're a goof, and all you have is cliches and platitudes to support atheism. You don't have any
I know.
reason or logic or evidence that atheism is true.
I know you're totally right, which is why I'm trying to understand your point of view.
Right. I'm saying God's necessary for reason. And then you go, oh, well, I reason atheism is true. Therefore, since God makes my reason accurate, therefore atheism is true. Do you see how
It's
stupid
like
that
a
is?
really oddly accurate like impression of me. Have you tried that before?
Well, I'm a professional comedian, so.
Do you want to do some jokes?
Yes, atheism is tenable. Atheism is logical. There's evidence for atheism.
BBDs. What's important is that you're connected to some sort of internet provider. It's a service or a data plan, but on a data plan, it's not going to be as reliable a signal. So you probably need to be on an internet server and have sort of like a Wi-Fi, and you'll connect to that, and it's kind of like over the air. So air, there's kind of like this magic energy over air, and I don't really understand it, but it kind of allows you to go into a box, and then that box goes through wires into the rest of the world from other boxes into magical air, and then into other people's smartphones. And that's how you're eventually going to connect to them. And they see you and they hear you saying things. Now, everybody's on their own version of this, okay? They're all a little bit different because they're all different products. What's a product? A product is something that a person or company will make. A company is like a collection of people that they...
My name is Pinky. You can call me Pinky, it's fine.
Pinky is fine. Are you Christian?
I am Christian, yes.
Okay. This is going to be perfect because what we're looking for tonight is what did God get right?
So basically, the Christian, there are Christians, is a different kind of Christians. Like,
Okay, hold on, Pinky. I'm gonna get really incisive here because I don't. One thing the chat always says to me, because I always let people just talk and talk and talk. They go off. They start like miles down the road, and then people think that they're gonna get to the destination, but it's just a long and winding road, right? Maybe just list the thing. What did God get right? I don't care about all the different kinds of Christians, whatever kind of Christians you want to be. What did God, the God you believe in, the God of the Bible, get right?
just believe in Him. Praise the Lord. God is Savior.
A cute little preachy, preach. Nobody wants to hear you preachity preach. Why don't you stop preaching, preachy, preach, and it'll give us a good chance to talk. It sounds like you're preaching a little bit. So what we're looking for here, and try to pay attention to what I'm saying here. You believe God created the whole entire system of how things work
Yes, absolutely.
doctrinally. So what of all the things that God has done did he get right? And just believe God isn't an answer to that. So what did God get right? What did he do right?
He gave the Bible verses to believe the words, to follow the rules.
So he gave us Bible verses that
Yes.
we can use to follow the rules.
Yes.
Okay. One of those Bible verses says that we should kill kids who curse their parents. I think he got that wrong. How about you?
Yes. I can say yes. That's
You
fine.
got that wrong?
Perfect.
Okay, how about this one? How about this one?
Perfect. Yeah.
He gave a rule written down in the Bible that said you can keep people as slaves for life and pass them down to your kids. I think he got that wrong. How about you?
In which chapter is that?
That particular one is in Leviticus chapter 25. Do you want to read it?
Please.
Okay. Bring it up here so I can read. What's your favorite translation?
Well, English would be fine.
So we go to Leviticus chapter 25, verse 44, and then we're going to read all the way to 46. It says, "As for your male and female slaves, whom you may have," and I just want to be very clear right now, God is saying this, okay?
Okay.
And he says, "It is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves. They may be your property. You may keep them as a possession for your children after you, for them to inherit as property. These you may treat as slaves." Do you think he got that right?
No.
No.
It's a mistaken. Basically, because I have studied a little bit recently about the Bible, the people who written from the tablets, they written by a human beings.
There's like a transcription error, so somebody wrote it down wrong.
Yes, because
Okay, Pinky, I'm just going to accept that somebody wrote it down wrong, okay? That they failed.
Yeah.
But how do we know that what's written on the original tablet, that the original thing was good? It may have been worse. We don't know what was written there.
Exactly. So basically, you can only rely not to believe 100% on the Bible words, but you can 100% rely on God.
The only way we know about God is through the words in the Bible, correct?
Yes,
Is God all powerful?
it is. Yes.
Yeah. Is God all knowing?
Yes.
God can do whatever he wants to do. He's so full of power.
Yes. Because he made us.
Except, Pinky, hold on. Except he allowed his book to be mistranslated and screwed up so that there's things in there we cannot trust. You think that God is worth trusting? I think that God is a failure.
There are two ways. One is God and one is Satan, right?
No.
It is, yes.
No, because this is the problem, Pinky. The Satan character may be a mistranslation. That might be one of the mistakes, right? So Pinky, we can't trust anything in the book. The book could have been written by Satan because it's flawed. We can see there's slavery laws. So you can't be like, we have to trust a lot of the book. The book is not trustworthy. And the God who the book is about is not trustworthy because he allowed it to get fucked up. So the whole thing blows up in your face.
Whatever written in the Bible, every single thing is happening by step in the world these days. Have
No.
you? Yes.
No. Like
It
what?
is. This is the last days we are living in.
Okay, Pinky,
Yeah.
show me a verse and then show me in the world where it's happening.
It says when it's the last days, everything happens, which is war. This is a third war happening.
That's always been happening.
Yeah, but this is the
verse,
third war.
Pinky, hold on. The verse says war and rumors of war. There's always been war and rumors of war. Honestly, I think there's been less war now than ever, apparently. So you're wrong.
And then they said is earthquakes happens, and these obviously the COVID happens. The COVID.
What was the other one?
Happens.
Colgate toothpaste?
No, COVID.
COVID? That's not in the Bible. It never said anything about C-19. It never said anything about wearing masks. Like, that's just not there.
BBDs. Before Joel gets back here, I wanted to remind you really quick, we do have some Bad Bible Debates merch. We have tote bags that have the most horrendous Bible verses on them. Slavery, she-bears eating kids, horse dicks, the rest. There's a bunch of good stuff in there. But for now, you can go to tinyurl.com/BBD shop. That's tinyurl.com/BBD shop and check out what we have available right now. Oh, here comes Joel. Oh, hey.
Oh, there you are. Finally, let's do the outro.
Yep, take it away, buddy.
Well, that's it from us. I'm Joel.
I'm Mezzo.
And I'm Joel. And just make sure you follow Bad Bible Debates wherever good podcasts are sold.
Yeah, or wherever you normally hijack them from.
And if you can, like it or leave a comment or anything on whatever platform you're using, please do that too.
That's right, buddy. And be sure to follow me on YouTube and TikTok. That's where we record all of these lives from. So if you want to catch the whole thing live, we got a lot of stuff going on over there.
We're always going live on TikTok and on YouTube. So yeah, definitely follow Mezzo there. And also, hey, look, follow me on TikTok, Joel Reads Bible, or subscribe on YouTube at Joel Reads Bible.
Oh, right. I guess I should say my handle is Mezzo_WS. That's pretty much the same on everything.
That's it from us for now. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Bad Bible Debates.
Dude, I think that went really well.
Actually, you know what? I think that was one of our best.
Oh, I wouldn't say best. I mean, it was okay.
No, I'm not joking.
I really liked your part.
You're so hard on yourself. You know, just listen closer to mine, and maybe you'll get it. You know, I think eventually you will get it.